Hi, Andrew. Thank you for coming to talk about your actual quite incredible progress in the last 12 weeks. Could you just, for people who are watching, just introduce yourself, what you wanted to get out of working with me, and the problems you were facing just before you started to come with me?
Yeah, basically I wanted to, as I'm sure a lot of people do, lose fat and gain muscle. And I think basically the problem was understanding how to do it. I always had quite a drive to train. That wasn't an issue, but it was probably more on things like diet and how to eat properly, and even how to train properly. That's what I was looking for coaching and advice on.
Because we worked together previously, I think about a year or so prior, where it was more about fat loss. I think that original one, and because this is the thing that is interesting, because you're a very fit individual anyway. I mean, you do 100 burpees first thing in the morning. Are you still doing that?
Yeah, I do. So I do 150. So I've got a program. As soon as I wake up, I go downstairs, have some vitamin C, and I do 3 sets of 50. They're standing burpees. They're not the tough ones, but I don't want to wake anybody up in the house because it's quite early in the morning when I do it. But that sort of starts the machine going.
I can't even do 5 burpees. I hate them. Absolutely hate them.
I don't like them either. I hate them as well.
So you have this. So you've got this good fitness program anyway. You're physically fit. So the idea was to build on that and improve your body and get that. Okay, so just outline where you were before we started working together. How many calories you're eating, workout program, that sort of thing.
I think, is this starting from when we first worked together, or?
Yeah, so let's say the day before we started working together.
So the day before we started working together, I didn't really have any understanding of proper diet. I had a rough idea of what not to eat, but I was kind of swept along by a lot of the trends that you see on YouTube and the internet. So I had ideas about diet, but not a real understanding of how to change my body through diet. Probably eating too many fats, not enough carbohydrates, and so that's where I was. I was always reasonably fit, quite fit actually, but just the actual body composition was lacking in my own eyes.
Absolutely. And how many calories were you eating before we started working together?
Before we started, I don't really know. I think that's part of it.
Fine. That's absolutely fine. It's just because they say a lot of people are very fit and just eating to sort of fuel that fitness, but sometimes I'm just eating to fuel this. I don't know exactly what I'm doing. Just I'm keeping fit. And okay, great.
Yeah.
So just if we can set the scene. So we started off. What do we start off on calories, and the workouts we did? How do they differ from what you were doing like previously?
So calories wise, we started under 2,000, which was quite low. My training changed completely. So I used to train more for strength. So I'd be doing lower repetitions, but higher weights. And we sort of changed to lower weights and higher repetitions. This is during the beginning of COVID, I believe, or in the midst of COVID. So I had to use I've got Olympic weights in my back garden. I had to use that when I first started working with you.
Yeah, that was when we did the more of a target lean protocol, wasn't it? And but then when we did just recently, when you came back, it was about February, I think. Was it February or January?
Yeah, January.
Yeah, so gyms were open, so we could really go to town. So
so this was fantastic. I didn't really believe in the sort of bodybuilding thing. I kind of again, this is stuff off the internet and YouTube, just about machines not being useful and just doing compound exercises. I mean, obviously there's a place for compound exercises and strength training, but I actually saw the benefit in doing different exercises. So the programs I started doing with you were brilliant. I mean, just new exercises made the training more interesting and fun. And just, it was using the muscles differently, which I think, and just using muscle I probably hadn't been using before.
But what we also found was the food wasn't enough to fuel that. So what happened with the calories and the carbs very shortly after?
Well, I think they increased dramatically. So I sort of went from about 1800 to 3000 plus.
Yeah.
And that seems to just about fuel the training.
Absolutely. It's let's share the screen and we can have a look at that. So a lot of graphs here, but this is around about where we started. The green line is the average calories. And then here, this is about, I think we're at about sort of 2,300 or something here.
Yeah.
And very quickly ramped it up to sort of the end of February. And then we were at over 3,000. And interestingly, part of this is almost about 500 grams of carbs per day, which is an incredible amount for anybody to eat. But your body weight is 60 odd kilos. So that is almost 10 times, like I said, it's 10 grams per kilo, which is that's up at the level of like Ironman, triathlete, that sort of thing, Olympic athlete level of carbohydrate fueling. And obviously the body weight here we can see, so this red line here is the average body weight. And we can see here that it dipped initially with this lower carbs. And then as we added the carbs in, this line starts to go up. And then for most people looking at this would be thinking, hold on, isn't it supposed to be getting into shape and everything else? But if we look at the actual pictures, this is where we started. This is where we're finishing up. And actually, most people looking at this would think that you lost weight and, obviously lost body fat, but lost weight. But what was the actual difference here between these pictures?
I think it's probably a couple of kilos.
Yeah. So this is about 63 kilos. And I think this one is about 64, 65 kilos.
Yeah.
But what's interesting here is you can see there's definitely fat loss, more muscle being built. And so the crucial thing here is, you didn't have loads of fat to lose. You weren't someone who was like, oh, I need to lose 30 kilos or 20 kilos, whatever. This was all about better body composition.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened by eating a whole ton more food and putting in a lot of volume training.
Yeah. I mean, this is the kind of, the shift in my thinking, working with you is, I think there's a lot of misinformation out there about carbohydrates. I think there's a lot of, obviously we have the trends to keto diets and that kind of thing, but you need the carbs to fuel the training. That's it.
Absolutely. And obviously you took that on, and most people would be like, what, 500 grams of carbs? I'm going to get fat doing that.
Yeah.
Actually, you lost weight and gained more muscle, and almost the perfect client result, to be fair.
Yeah. I never thought I'd be an after picture. But yeah, it's just, I think the coaching, working with somebody like yourself is absolutely crucial. I think you can find, there's lots of information out there. You can find out lots of things, but you need to speak to somebody who knows what they're doing, and that will get you somewhere a lot quicker than you sort of meddling yourself. Yeah, it's like, obviously the car analogy, I think you've used, or your own coaching, your own business coaching. Like you wouldn't, I mean, I could tinker around with the car, but it's a lot better to go to somebody who knows what they're doing.
Well, yeah, because a while ago I changed my water pump in my car using a
Oh, well
Haynes
done.
manual, and it
Yeah.
took me all afternoon, and I still messed it up a little bit, although the car ran sort of. Whereas now I'm just like, I'm gonna go to a mechanic, they can fix my car, and I'll just go and I'll enjoy the car ride. But
Yeah.
exactly what you got was there's loads of information, but it's that implementation of putting it all into action, which and I suppose the thing here is that people might look at that photo and say, oh, but he's just lost weight, he's just getting ready for a holiday or whatever. And what they're actually getting is that this is you maintaining now. This is your how I live every day.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I think I had good habits to begin with, but it was implementing the correct habits that got the result that I wanted. That's key. And with your guidance, that you basically taught me how to eat properly, new types of training, and just guidance. It was brilliant. What can I say? Like, I think the results speak for themselves. You do have to work. I mean, this is the caveat.
Not easy.
No, I mean it's not easy, but it's enjoyable. You're doing something for yourself, for your body, your family. That was kind of my objective, to be a role model for my kids.
Awesome.
Just so I don't look a complete mess at my age.
And are you comfortable saying how old you are?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm 47, and yeah,
In incredible shape.
incredible shape. What can I say?
So what's the next thing? Just as a sort of parting thought, because you're like low body fat, building muscle, eating 500 grams of carbs a day. It's like most guys are like, wow, I want some of that. What's next for you?
I think it's to basically just carry on, make sure the habits are ingrained, keep going with the diet plan, and just basically sticking to the program. Who knows? Maybe a competition in the future, masters.
Not far off. Be interesting. Excellent.
It's just really it's about the lifestyle more than anything, and just sort of living a fitness lifestyle.
Well, thanks very much for coming and telling your story. It's always great to see a really successful transformation, and I'm glad that you got everything you wanted.
No, it was a pleasure. I would highly recommend anybody to work with you if they want to get a good result. I can't speak highly of you. It's absolutely brilliant.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Thanks. I'll see you again.
Yeah, see you soon.